The words hung in the air like poison. Emma, you're 31 now. We need to be realistic about these things. I stared at my husband across our kitchen table, my birthday cake untouched between us. Realistic about what, David? Another baby. He wouldn't meet my eyes. You're not getting any younger. The risks increase. Maybe we should just be grateful for Lily and move on. Our daughter was 5 years old. I'd been talking about giving her a sibling for 2 years now. David had always said, maybe next year, or let's wait until things settle down at work. But this was different. This felt final and cruel. I'm 31, not 50, I said, trying to keep my voice steady. Women have healthy babies well into their 40s now. I just think we should be smart. He stood up and kissed my forehead like I was a child. I'm thinking about you, Emma. About your health. About our family. I wanted to believe him. I really did. But something in his tone felt wrong, like he was reading from a script he'd practiced. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay next to David in the dark, listening to him breathe, wondering when my husband had started looking at me like I had an expiration date. At 31, I was in the best shape of my life. I ran marathons. I ate well. My doctor had told me just last month that I was perfectly healthy. So why was David so determined to convince me otherwise? The answer came 2 weeks later at 2 a.m. when his phone rang. He was in the bathroom. I saw the name on the screen. Rachel, office. I almost didn't answer it, but something made me pick up. David, a woman's voice crying. David, I can't do this anymore. I'm 8 weeks now, and I'm scared, and you won't return my calls. My blood turned to ice. This isn't David. The line went dead immediately. I sat there in our bed, holding his phone, my whole world tilting sideways. 8 weeks pregnant. Rachel from his office. The sudden concern about my age making sense now in the cruelest way possible. David came out of the bathroom. Why do you have my phone? Who's Rachel? I asked quietly. His face went white. What? Rachel from her office. The one who's 8 weeks pregnant. That Rachel. I watched him try to think of a lie. I watched him realize there was no lie good enough. I watched my marriage end in real time. Emma, I can explain. You told me I was too old to have another baby because you're having one with someone else. My voice sounded strange, distant. You made me feel broken and old because you needed an excuse. It was a mistake. It meant nothing. Get out. I stood up, surprised by how calm I felt. Get out of this bedroom right now. Emma, please, let's talk about this. Get out, or I start screaming and wake up Lily. Your choice. He left. I heard him go downstairs to the guest room. I sat on our bed and waited for the tears to come, but they didn't. Instead, I felt something else. Something cold and clear and focused. I wasn't going to fall apart. I was going to be smart. The next morning, I acted normal. I made breakfast. I got Lily ready for school. I kissed David goodbye like nothing had happened. He looked confused but relieved. We'll talk tonight, he said. Sure. I lied. Instead, I called my best friend Marcus. He was a lawyer. I need your help, I told him. And I need you to not judge me for what I'm about to do. Marcus listened to everything. Then he said, I know someone. A private investigator. She's good. Her name was Diane, and she was very good. Within a week, she had everything. Photos of David and Rachel together. Receipts from the fertility clinic where he'd taken her for appointments. Text messages where he called me the problem he needed to solve. Email exchanges about how he planned to leave me once Rachel had the baby. But Diane found something else too. Something that made my revenge much sweeter. Your husband has been hiding money, she said, showing me bank statements. He opened an account you don't know about. He's been moving money there for 6 months. About $70,000 from your joint investments. He's planning to leave me with nothing, I realized. He's planning to leave you looking like the unstable one, Diane corrected. Look at these emails to Rachel. He's been telling her you're mentally unstable, that you're obsessed with having another baby, that he's afraid for Lily's safety around you. I felt sick. This wasn't just betrayal. This was calculated destruction. What do you want to do? Diane asked. I want him to think he's winning, I said. Right up until he realizes he's lost everything. Before we continue, kindly subscribe and drop your name in the comments. We'll be giving shoutouts in our next video on Flex Revenge Unfold. The plan took 3 weeks to set up. First, I called Rachel. Yes, I called her directly. Hello. She sounded nervous. Hi, Rachel. This is Emma, David's wife. Please don't hang up. Silence. Then, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Are you really pregnant? I asked. Yes. Her voice was barely a whisper. Did David tell you I was mentally unstable? That I was obsessed and maybe dangerous? More silence. Then, how did you know? Because he's a liar, Rachel. And I can prove it. Can we meet? We met at a coffee shop the next day. Rachel was 26, pretty, and clearly terrified. She was also starting to realize she'd been played. He said you refused to have more children, Rachel told me, crying. He said you were selfish and cold, that your marriage was over, but you wouldn't let him leave. I've been begging him for another baby for 2 years, I said. He told me on my 31st birthday that I was too old. Too risky. And now I know why. Rachel put her face in her hands. I'm such an idiot. No, you're not. You're pregnant and scared, and he took advantage of that. But Rachel, I need to ask you something. Do you actually want this baby? Or do you want it because David wants it? She looked up at me, tears streaming down her face. I don't know anymore. He keeps saying we'll be a family, but he won't tell his wife. He won't file for divorce. He just keeps saying soon and be patient, and I'm running out of time to make decisions. He's been stealing money from our accounts, I told her. $70,000 that he's hiding.
Did you know that?
Her face went pale. He said he was broke. He said you controlled all the money, and he had nothing. Rachel, he's playing both of us. And I have an idea that might help us both. But I need to know if you're willing to trust me. That's how Rachel became my ally. Together, we came up with a plan that would expose David for exactly what he was. The setup was simple. Rachel told David she wanted to tell me about the baby herself, that she felt guilty and wanted to do the right thing. David panicked, but Rachel was convincing. She said she'd do it with or without his approval. So David agreed, thinking he could control the narrative. We scheduled a meeting at our house on a Saturday afternoon when Lily was at her grandmother's. What David didn't know was that I'd invited others too. That Saturday, Rachel arrived first. David was there, looking nervous, but trying to appear supportive. I'm glad we're doing this, he said, taking Rachel's hand. Honesty is important. Then the doorbell rang. David answered it. Standing there was his boss, Mr. Peterson, and the head of HR from his company, Mrs. Chun. What are you doing here? David asked, confused. Emma invited us, Mr. Peterson said, walking in. She said there was something we needed to see. What is this? David turned to me, his face red. This is the truth, I said calmly. Everyone sit down. The doorbell rang again. This time it was Diane, my investigator, carrying a folder. Then Marcus, my lawyer friend. Then David's parents, who I'd called that morning. Emma, what the hell is going on? David demanded. Sit down, David. My voice was ice. It's time everyone knew what kind of man you really are. I opened the folder Diane had prepared. Inside were printed copies of everything. The affair. The hidden bank account. The emails where David called me unstable and planned to leave me with nothing. The text messages where he told Rachel I was dangerous. David has been having an affair with Rachel for 7 months. I announced to the room. She's pregnant. But that's not all. He's been systematically stealing from our joint accounts and hiding money. He's been planning to leave me and paint me as mentally unstable so he'd get full custody of our daughter. David's mother gasped. His father's face turned purple. That's not true. David shouted. Emma, you're twisting things. I have proof, I said, passing around the documents. Bank statements, emails, text messages. All of it. Mr. Peterson was reading one of the email chains. His face was dark. David, you used company resources to communicate with your mistress. You've been taking extended lunches and billing them as client meetings. Is this true? David opened his mouth, but nothing came out. Mrs. Chen was reading the text where David had discussed me. Mr. Harrison, you wrote here that your wife was the problem and that you needed to manage her carefully. You also discussed hiding assets during a divorce. Are you aware that's illegal? I was just venting, David said desperately. People say things when they're upset. For 7 months? I asked. You've been venting for 7 months while stealing from me and lying to everyone? Rachel stood up. She'd been quiet until now. He told me his wife was awful, she said to the room. He said she refused to have more children, that she was cold and controlling. But Emma showed me the truth. She's been asking for another baby for years. David told her she was too old. On her 31st birthday, he told her she was too old while I was already pregnant with his child. David's mother started crying. His father stood up and walked out of the room. There's more, I said. I pulled out another document. David's been accessing my personal emails. He installed spyware on my phone to track my location. He's been building a file on me to use in divorce court to prove I'm unstable. Except none of it is true. It's all manipulation. Marcus stepped forward. I'm representing Emma in the divorce. We've already filed the papers. David, you'll be served officially on Monday, but consider this your notice. We're seeking full custody of Lily based on your deceptive behavior, theft, and affairs. We're also filing charges for the financial fraud. David looked around the room at all the faces staring at him with disgust and disbelief. You set me up, he said to me. No, I replied. I exposed you. There's a difference. Mr. Peterson stood. David, you're fired effective immediately. We'll be conducting a full audit of your expense reports. If we find any other improprieties, we'll be pressing charges. Mrs. Chen nodded. Conducting an affair with a junior employee also violates company policy. You'll be hearing from our legal team. David's parents came back into the room. His father spoke, his voice cold. We didn't raise you to be this kind of man. Don't call us until you've figured out how to fix what you've broken. They left. Then Mr. Peterson and Mrs. Chen left. Then Diane and Marcus left, giving me encouraging nods. It was just me, David, and Rachel now. I lost my job, David said, staring at the floor. My parents hate me. I'm going to be arrested. Yes, I said simply. How could you do this to me? He asked, and he actually sounded hurt. How could I? I laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. David, you told me I was too old to have a baby at 31 while you were getting another woman pregnant. You stole from me. You tried to make everyone think I was crazy so you could take my daughter. And you ask how could I? Rachel stood up. I'm not keeping the baby, she said quietly. I'm scheduling an appointment next week. I can't bring a child into this mess. And David, don't contact me again. Ever. She walked out, leaving just the two of us. I loved you, David said, and he was crying now. I really did. No, you didn't, I replied. You loved what I provided. The perfect home. The perfect wife. The perfect cover for the man you really were. But I'm 31 years old, David. I'm not too old for anything. I'm not too old to start over. I'm not too old to find someone who actually deserves me. And I'm definitely not too old to recognize a liar when I see one. I walked to the door and opened it. Get out of my house. Your things will be packed and sent to wherever you're staying. You have 1 hour to collect what you need right now. He stood there for a moment, looking at me like he was seeing me for the first time. Then he left. The divorce took 6 months. I got the house, full custody of Lily, and David had to repay every cent he'd stolen plus damages. He also got a criminal record for the financial fraud. His parents cut him off completely. Rachel and I became unlikely friends. She moved to a different city for a fresh start, and we still text sometimes. She thanks me for showing her the truth before she made a bigger mistake. A year later, I was at a park with Lily when I saw him. David looked older, tired. He was with a woman I didn't recognize. When he saw me, he started walking over, but I held up my hand. Don't, I said. We have nothing to say to each other. I just want you to know I'm sorry, he said. For all of it. I don't care. I replied honestly. Your apology means nothing to me. Are you happy? He asked, and there was real pain in his eyes. I looked at Lily playing on the swings, laughing. I thought about my life now, quiet, peaceful, mine. I thought about the therapy I'd been doing, the friends I'd reconnected with, the version of myself I was rediscovering at 31. I'm getting there, I said. A little more every day. And you know what the best part is? I don't think about you anymore. You're just someone I used to know. Someone who taught me that I'm stronger than I ever thought possible. His face crumpled. I ruined everything. Yes, you did. But you freed me too. So, I guess I should say thank you. I picked up Lily as she ran over. We're done now, David. Please don't approach us again. I walked away and didn't look back. That night, Lily was asleep and I stood in my kitchen in my house, and smiled. My phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. How are you doing? I typed back, better than I ever thought I would be. And it was true. David had tried to make me believe I was too old, too much, too difficult. He tried to break me down so thoroughly that I'd never question his lies. But instead, he'd show me exactly how strong I really was. At 31, I learned that the cruelest betrayals can become the most powerful transformations. That revenge isn't about destruction, it's about reconstruction. Building yourself back up into someone so complete, so whole, that the person who tried to break you becomes irrelevant. I never did have another baby, but I had something better. I had myself back, and that was worth more than any revenge I could have planned.